Control. Just finished. Just got done with that, and I was about to lose my control after watching that film. I was like, "What the? Come on, man! How it? It's very amateurish. Very amateurish. The way they portrayed the central technology, very amateurish. My overall thoughts were someone. This felt like. Uh, all the WhatsApp forwards related to cybersecurity compiled together and tied together in a screenplay. That's what I felt after watching this film.
A screenplay is designed in a way where every time you want a beat to land, because there are only few beats you want to land perfectly.
Yeah,
Okay. And that's how the screenplay is designed, that leading up to that beat, and then the beat is a gut punch. The
yeah,
problem is the beats, those particular beats are so weak here.
yeah,
Okay. Because the characters are so weak, because your conflict is so weak, because the a central tool that you are using which is the AI, the technology also is very weak, and
yeah,
the ultimate message of the movie is not new. It has been done many times before, so all of that does not land properly. I don't know how far back this movie was made, but everything this movie was trying to do, I could see coming from like miles away.
yeah.
Because, and this is like, because I know that the director can do so much better, I was so disappointed because I could be like, ye to nahi karega, this is very basic, and then he ends up doing that. Okay. So at every moment, I am disappointed in the sense that like they could have taken it in a so much better direction, because the heart of it is, this is a mystery movie, this is a murder mystery film. Okay. And uh I was expecting good twists here, and they never come. Okay, there is no betrayal, there is no use of technology to drive the plot, in the sense ki, um, to use the technology to sort of do characterization and play off of the plot. Okay, if you understand. So the usage of the technology plus the characters, everything is extremely weak. Even the conflict at the heart of it, it's not very clear even. The this this script sort of breaks so many rules, so many fundamental rules of screenwriting, that if even if I had gotten the fundamentals right in the basic, in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the film, it would have been a much better watch. And and all of it is decorated with the most uh, wannabe bleak ending ever. Like, straight up, somebody saw 2 episodes of Black Mirror and they were like, I should do this, and then they ended up doing it. Okay. And okay, those are my overall thoughts.
So let me start. So the premise itself informs me about exactly where the overall story is going to go. Now,
Hmm.
I'll just quickly read out the one liner which is kind of displayed when you pause this movie on Netflix. So, whenever you pause something while you're watching, you
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
that one liner, right? So, I'll
Hmm,
read
hmm,
the
hmm.
exact line. I took a screenshot of it because I had a call when I was watching this movie. And when I came
You had
back,
to pause it.
I had to pause it. When I came back, I literally saw it, and that itself is the major problem of this film. So the one liner is Nella and Joe are the perfect influencer couple, but when he cheats on her, she turns to an AI app to erase him from her life until it takes control.
Yeah, that's the entire plot.
Yeah, so that is the entire movie.
Yes.
So all the beats of the story are present in this sentence. The first line is that Nella and Joe are the perfect influencer couple. So I know the movie is going to show us a montage of how these two are so cute together and how they became influencers. And quite fittingly, we have that song, the opening song, where we see both of these things happening. Now, the next line is about how Joe cheats on Nella. So we know they are going to break up, and then they mention the AI app bit where she decides to erase him until it takes control. So basically, my problem is out of the 90-minute runtime of the movie, you have given away half of it. This entire sentence, I actually went back and checked the runtime. It was sometime around the 42-minute mark where all the information from this statement is revealed. So, in a 90-minute movie, you are giving away the 42 minutes of the film in just this one sentence. So, like, I mean, let's say for the argument's sake, you don't read this. Like, you enter this movie and you decide to watch this completely blind. You can still predict these things.
Yeah.
So, like the opening moment itself, when you see the song happening, you know exactly where this story is going to go. If you watched, if you watched enough movies your entire life, if this is the very first movie you watch your entire, in your whole life, you will feel surprised and you will feel something new. But if you are an avid movie watcher, you can literally see it a mile away, like where this entire thing is going to come. Now let me, after this 42-minute mark where all of this information gets revealed, now I'll talk about the next 20 minutes from 42 minutes till 60 minutes, because I was now timing it as well. So Nella kind of spends investigating. This 20
Yeah.
minutes she spends investigating. Basically, she here gets the news that Joe has disappeared, and now she's going to figure out where she is. And how does she do the investigation? She's literally going through all of his email. She's trying to crack his email by she why she goes through all of his emails and tries all of the passwords and finally figures out one password matches one of his another email, and then she's able to get the verification code of another email in this, and we see this for 20 fucking minutes. And there is a thriller music playing in the background, and there is no real people in the movie. We are seeing a screen recording. So it's as though the makers were saving up on production costs, and they were like, let's just design everything on After Effects, and out of the 90 minutes we have this 20-minute chunk where we are going to show this entire investigation through this format. So out of the 90 minutes, a total 60 minutes is a waste. So why are we even watching this movie? There's nothing new to experience when it comes to the relationship. The only thing which we are left with is the AI and the technology aspect, which itself is horribly portrayed. See, for someone who's actively involved in using this type of technology, how they show it is absolutely dumb. The moment my immersion completely went away is when they kind of show that this AI can erase someone from existing images and videos. I completely lose the just for someone, a lay person, I'll go over the theory of image removal, because image removal is actually a thing which we've all been
Yeah. Yeah.
doing for a long time. So earlier it used to be done manually. Now a lot of AI tools are implemented, and you also have that in many flagship phones as well. So you have Google ka Pixel, where it's actually a selling point of Google Pixel, that whenever you take a picture, if you have a photo bomb and if you want to remove some crowd from behind, you can use our AI powered image removal technology. So they sell flagship phones based on this feature, but
Yeah.
primarily the theory behind image removal, I'll give you a visual representation. So I came prepared basically. So it's like, imagine you have to cut out this banana, this out of this entire image. If you have to cut out this banana, what you are going to do is, because this is kind of a visual representation how it works. So I'm just going to shoddily do this. So I'm just going to cut this out.
This is the most prepared you have come for a
Yeah, no,
discussion.
no, because this is like, this is my turf.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So this is how image cutting works basically. So I cut this out. This is the cut out portion, banana. I removed it. So what are we left with? A hole.
Yeah.
So there is nothing behind this. So this is basically the same principle which we use when it comes to digital removal of things as well. When you remove something, if there is nothing, there are no, everything is a pixel, right? When it comes to images, digital images are all
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pixels. A computer doesn't know this is a banana. A computer doesn't know this is apple. It only recognizes small pixels. So pixel is individual squares. So basically this is a collection of colors, and when you bring together it forms this basic shape, and you as a human being are able to identify this as an apple, and you are able to identify this object, that this is a box, this is a bowl. So the computer is not able to identify, it does not know, it can only identify colors. So if you remove this, it is left with dead pixels. So now when it comes to reconstructing this dead pixel, what you do is, this is where AI is now coming into play. Is if I were to manually fill this space up, what I'll do is, I'll use this background color and I'll stretch it out and I'll fill this empty space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's how we used to do it, that's how designers used to do in Photoshop. So when it comes to AI, over the years, AI has been fed with a lot of data, which we as human beings have fed it. Now AI has reached to such a point that if we kind of highlight this empty space and provide a prompt that we need to fill this space, but it needs to match the color of this particular background, so that is the prompt which we are going to provide it with. So what the AI will do is, it will identify the parameters and fill this with the purple, this pink color. So that's how gaps are filled. No AI is capable of identifying the gaps and filling it without a human input. If the AI is not given a proper directive that you need to fill it with an empty space, it will fill it with anything which it feels is appropriate. So what it may do is, it may actually copy anything. Maybe it can copy this and then paste it here, because it doesn't know, it can't tell the difference. When it comes to these photo eraser apps, what they do is, they are kind of programmed in such a way, they basically analyze what is the surrounding image around this empty space, and it will correctly predict and automatically fill it. So it will never be 100% accurate. You can get high levels of accuracy because there is a lot of data collection involved, which is how this image processing works. Now, the image removal process which is portrayed in this particular movie, that is absolutely science fiction. The very first picture of Joe and Nella, they share a photo together from where the AI
Yes.
basically removes. So there is something written behind on the wall. There is a graffiti behind
Yeah,
the wall,
yeah.
and
It's like
in
Bollywood or something.
something, I don't remember, something K it's written. So when the AI removes Joe from the image, it perfectly is able to predict what is written behind the wall, and it correctly like mentions the letters as well, as though it is actually a real person doing it. So it is basically magic. How they portray it, it is magic. So that is when I lost the immersion. And then they show that the AI is also erasing something from videos.
Mm-hmm.
Are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
stupid? Are
There is
you?
a there is a slow-mo scene where the AI is
Yeah,
erasing while they're running towards the
yeah.
sea, the lake, and then they're jumping into the lake. पूरा ही erase कर देता है वो.
Dude, what is a video? A video is a collection of images.
Yeah.
If it takes this much magajmari to only edit one image, how is it going to remove frame by frame? How is it going to correctly predict every detail? So that is the problem. So AI has not reached to such an extent that it can actually do whatever they are showing in this particular movie, as whatever they are passing off as AI technology. It is still a lot of years away. Like, it will still take.
No, it's still not consistent though. If the AI is able to do this much,
Yeah,
when it is doing a deep fake, or it is trying to change the speech towards the end,
yeah.
suddenly the technology is not very good.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I'm saying. If it's capable of erasing it to such precision, then you are portraying it as though the deep fake is, it looks like a deep fake. It is now current. It
Yeah.
comes back to current day limitations. So that is the inconsistency, which I feel that is stupidity. That whoever researched this, whoever. Okay. So I'll tell you the reason why I'm being so harsh with this particular movie is because what is being shown is the primary gimmick of this movie,
Hmm.
because there is nothing else for us to experience which we wouldn't get in countless other Bollywood films.
Yeah.
The only new thing which we got to see was how Nella finds out Joe was cheating. That is the only new kind of a scene which I saw, that the catalyst for the breakup happens while she's live streaming. And she basically, her reaction uh, ends up turning her into a meme. So that is a commentary on dehumanization because of social media. That is interesting because we don't, like, we see how everyone kind of turns her into a joke, and she's kind of shamed even though he's at fault.
This is not new though. If you've seen, there
Yeah,
is a
I
called
mean that I'm
Sajni Shinde ka viral video. There is one
I
of those
see.
movies.
What I'm
Same
saying
thing
is
happened.
that is the only thing which I felt was promising. But we don't like that. Also, is something which we don't get it for a long time. The movie skips through it, and then the AI plot takes over. So
Hmm.
my problem was that the technology is portrayed. There are a lot of creative liberties which the movie takes when it comes to AI, but that becomes too far fetched to accept. Whoever came up with this, they only did a surface level research, and they just quickly built a story around it. Basically, for me, Alan is, the AI assistant, she names it Alan, right? Alan is Shah Rukh Khan from Dar, and what we see happening in this movie is the AI's version of Tu haan kar ya na kar, tu hai meri kakakak kiran. It is just a stalker trope. That's it. What we are seeing is a stalker trope for 70%, for 80% of the movie. End में तो पता नहीं, it becomes something else altogether.
I they could have used Alan to have to invoke fear in you, because
Basically, you
but they
have
never do.
you and I, both of us have seen Person of Interest,
Yes,
and that is how you kind of, and that show came out. The
in
first season came out
2011.
in
2011.
2011, and it
Yeah.
ended sometime in 2015 or 2016. So this was like, yeah, this was before AI was this prominent, and they portray it so realistically that you feel the mush. I mean, for spoiler alert for those who haven't seen that show, when the bad machine takes over, you see how their lives get ruined, and it is
Yeah.
portrayed in such a realistic way. You feel elated by watching. It's a thriller, man. You actually feel that. I'm comparing it directly with Person of Interest because this movie wanted to go there, but it never did.
Hmm.
That is the problem. And also, another thing is the immense popularity she attains after she starts using the AI. That was another dumb thing. There is no magic AI which is going to make you go viral and lift you from Goregaon to Bandra.
Yeah.
There is
If
no
there
AI.
is, everyone would be using it.
Exactly. Everyone. So that was completely, I mean, at least you see, I understand. I don't know, man. That was so stupid, man. That is so stupid. So that 70% of the movie did not work for me. Setting that aside, the only accurate representation of technology is how kind of someone takes remote access to your system and is impersonating you. So the cyber security aspect and the hacking angle, I can still accept that because that happens even now. If you download an app from an unknown source and grant access to your files, there is a high possibility you will get hacked, and all of that, basically someone can easily access your desktop, and if you've kept your chat window open, they can impersonate you and kind of send a message on your behalf. So I mean, so for
I was
me,
looking out for it. Okay, okay, because in the beginning you sold to me that this is a science, so almost like a science fiction film where your
yeah,
AI can do a lot of things that uh, AI today can't. Okay,
yeah,
now
yeah,
I was like, okay, which one of her video calls is fake? That
yeah,
is what I was thinking.
yeah,
Which one of, like, maybe her friend, when she so this is what I was expecting. Maybe when she calls her friend and the friend says, please don't look into this. Okay,
yeah.
I thought that was the AI talking to
Yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah. They could
Okay,
have done
but
that. They never go there. They never went
yes,
there. The only time they went there was when the AI decided to deep fake the true video and then
yes,
frame her,
of
which
Joe.
was which
It's
I was
such a
expecting.
horrible.
Which I
Yeah,
was
Joe
expecting.
Mascarenas is.
Yeah, I was expecting that. I was expecting the movie to go there, and it went there.
Yeah.
They That is the problem. They wanted to make a 90-minute movie, and so they hit the beats and they
Even
went.
there they could have done so much, but then it would have worked again with the fundamentals. So I will switch to a proper segment to characterization. I want to talk a lot about the characters of Joe Mascarenas and Nella,
Yeah,
and
so before we
the
go there,
relationship
yeah,
that they share.
before we go
Yeah,
there, I let me just kind of touch over the data collection aspect which they portrayed. That is actually something which is very true. So it's like
yeah,
data collection definitely happens. There are data broking companies. In fact, Zomato and all the e-commerce websites which we are using, they are data brokers. They sell all of our data from the back end. Plus that is major corporations handling our data. Plus, there is also another aspect of data collection, which basically happens through if we kind of go into these cyber cafes. Basically, cyber cafes, for those who are not old enough, that used to be a thing where we used to go and have cyber cafes where computers were present with a lot with a dedicated internet, high speed internet connection, where we used to access internet and access our social media platforms and all of that.
yeah,
This was a thing back in the day. Nowadays there are cyber cafes, but they are used as photocopy spots where where
yeah.
college students and everyone go to photocopy important documents. So those stations are also data broking stations, because over there you are kind of granting access to a lot of your private documents. So you take your Aadhaar card, you take your passport, you take your PAN card, and all of that you go and get photocopied. So a digital copy of those documents are present with these a lot of these data centers, like these cyber cafes, and they make a profit out of it. So that is something which is a real genuine threat, which kind of we have to deal with. And it's also being used by Meta and Facebook and all of these companies. Basically, this is how they show us ads as well, which we primarily are dealing with on a day to day. So the kind of topic which they touch, how the data where the related to data theft, and how basically one major corporation is taking control of your life, that is something which I can go with. But the entire movie was not about that. If they wanted to make the movie about that, they should have kind of built it up from the beginning itself.
Okay, there is a quick fix here where I think they should have gone with this as well. Um, to make the investigation better, she should not have known about the public tech group that he was a part of. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, she should have discovered that he was a part of a group through means of investigation, and it would have been even more interesting instead of her already knowing he was a part of that tech group, and then stumbling upon that entire Dora box, whatever it was.
that was stupid. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. That the problem with this movie was they just wrote scenes. This is the same problem with Goat. They just wrote scenes and they just skimmed through everything, because they had a plan that this is where they had to take the story, and this is point A to point B they had to move, and so they just quickly skimmed through everything. There was no
They also
room
like
for
did like
breathing.
check marks, like,
Yeah, check marks
okay, we've shown
exactly.
this, we've shown this, we don't shown this.
Yeah,
uh,
and
Peak
the
male.
and the thing was, they had to cover all the topics. Like, they could have stuck with just AI, but no, they had to deal with data theft, they had to deal with AI, they had to deal with social media, they had to deal with the negative side of influencers, they had to deal with basically every little topic. That is the problem. When pick just pick one and go with it. You
No,
don't
they
have
should
to
have
do
gone with
everything.
two, which is the dark side of being an influencer, plus what and how AI can take advantage of you because of that, because of your because of the state of mind that you are in, your
Yeah,
ego, the vulnerability,
yeah.
all of that, and how AI can misuse that. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
those things you can play.
Exactly. You don't need any everything. You don't need deep fake. You don't need nothing. Data collection, all of that. That is mumbo jumbo. I don't need a life lesson from this particular movie. If I want
Yeah,
to
it's
research,
like Joe Mascarenas was talking to all of us through that video.
yeah,
Okay. And also, okay, while we are talking about this, I'll come back to it when we are talking about the characters. I don't know if I personally don't think that a company would kill over this.
No, no, that is, see, that is plausible. Corporations and companies indulge in a lot of practices. They may not go to such an extent of kind of like, taking someone's life, but what they'll do is they'll discredit that person, they'll tie them up
Yeah,
in
that's
lawsuits,
okay.
and that is something they'll basically completely ruin that person's reputation, and they'll make sure that person is gone. Gone as in that person has no value. They'll never take that person's life. That is an extreme thing, but because this is a movie and because this is a thriller genre, they had to go there.
Yeah,
That is the only thing. Because see, if you think about it, if they had to, if if Edward Snowden managed to survive,
yeah, exactly.
Joe Mascorena, whatever that dude's name is, he's nobody.
Mascarenas here.
Mascorena, he's nobody compared to Edward Snowden. So
And
that is
even
what,
Mayank is nobody. I'm saying this.
the pun intended.
Yeah, it's like, I, क्या मेरे कैरेक्टर को क्या बना दिया उसने, but ठीक
No,
है.
that is what I'm saying. Na, कि like when Edward Snowden can snitch on the CIA and get away scot free, you are nobody. And
Yeah,
मंत्रा क्या है? मैंने मंत्रा क्या है?
मंत्रा, मिंत्रा.
मिंत्रा. अबे मिंत्रा को इतना बड़ा दिखा दिया उन्होंने, क्या है वे? मिंत्रा की इतनी इज्जत नहीं है. If they kind of went with Tata, or they were kind of going with Reliance or something like that, I would have still believed you. Mantra क्या होता है वे? मंत्रा की तो औकात ही नहीं
I think
है.
they wanted to do Amazon or something like that, just
Yeah,
Indian
but
version.
at least if they want to go with that, pick a better name, na. Mantra and Mintra, I know, because see,
Okay.
so
Hmm.
Gramora was the was क्या है? A placeholder for Instagram, and YouTube के लिए कुछ और था. So if
I
they
don't know.
had good placeholders for these two apps, but Mantra, I laughed out loud, man. Why are you going with Mintra, man? कुछ और ही कर लेते भाई. Reliance की
Okay.
जगह कुछ कर लेते.
Uh,
Anyways, okay, enough
let's get
technology
into the
talk. Let's get back to the characters.
yeah. So I'll start with the relationship between Nella and Joe. Okay. Now, during the montage scene in the beginning, when there is a song, okay, the way you show a relationship, the way you show a strong relationship, because you want to have the cheating scene later on, okay, you have to show them going through ups and downs.
Yeah,
You cannot just show ups and then expect me to buy into the relationship, because I know that they've not been through this. They've
yeah,
not been through anything.
yeah,
Okay. So when that cheating scene comes, it's not a gut punch. Okay. So that beat is completely gone. That first
yeah,
beat that you expected, because that is the inciting incident.
yeah,
When she finds out that he's cheating, that is supposed to be a gut punch, but it is
yeah,
not, because you have not sold me on the relationship. And it's a very easy fix. You show them going through ups and downs, but it's just constant up, 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 up. That's it.
yeah,
Okay, and that ruins the experience completely for me, because now the entire movie is not, I'm not invested into the relationship at all.
yeah.
And okay, there is a way to do this. So there is a film called Searching, um and there is a sequel of it called Missing. I think it's called Missing. Um and they have set it up so well in that film. So basically in that film, there is a girl whose father dies. Okay, they show it in the exact same way. uh, Everything is through the internet.
Okay.
Okay, through like technology. There is no proper scene outside in the outside world. Okay, yeah. And then the dad dies, and she blames it on the mother, that he died because of you. I
Hmm.
hate you. Okay,
Hmm.
and then the mom goes missing.
Hmm.
Okay, now it is up to her to find the mother that she actually does not really like.
Hmm.
Okay, but the secret here is she actually does love her mother. The feelings are buried deep down, and while she's looking for her, they slowly creep up again. The love for the mother. Okay, that is where she's tested. This a similar thing is happening here, where she has just kicked him out of her life. Nella has just kicked Joe out of her life, and suddenly he's gone missing. So her love for him is now tested. Okay, but again, the relationship is not strong enough, or you have not shown the relationship to be strong enough that I want to go on this journey with Nella of finding Joe. Immediate gone. Okay, now one thing that they've done, I think, I don't know if he's done it intentionally, which is there is a lot of criticism of Gen Z. A lot of criticism of Gen Z. One of them is not having a personality outside of a relationship. Okay, because they get into a relationship at 17. Nella has no personality outside of the relationship. So
Yeah,
her turning to AI so is kind of plausible for me. It's like, fine, you're so angry and you're so confused as to who I am that Sarah anger is going towards Joe. And
yeah,
now somebody's coming in and helping you. So you constantly need somebody in your life.
yeah,
Joe gaya, so it has to be Alan.
yeah,
Okay. And then it becomes such a big this thing, the circular thing, that at the end of the film, it has to again be Joe. Okay, she needs somebody in her life constantly. She cannot survive on her own.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
that's the whole thing. For the time being, I'm done with the this part of the whole thing. I think Joe's character was extremely weak. They didn't even take the time to set him up. Every each friend in the film is really weak. Okay,
There are
it's
no
just that Ananya's
characters.
performance was superior.
There are no characters in the movie. There are only plot devices in the movie.
Yes, foil characters, right? Like
Yeah,
they're supposed to show what the character is feeling.
yeah, exactly. So only we have, like, because we have Nella, the only we spend the most time with Nella. So that is
Correct.
why we are able to kind of see, and because I'll tell you, commendable Ananya Pandey, commendable performance.
Yes.
She actually gave a very good performance, and maybe they cast her because she resembled whatever they wrote, whatever they had in mind for Nella. She came close to it, and even playing that, because she's like that in her real life. Maybe that is why they cast her. But even playing herself in front of camera in a different kind of a scenario, within the confines of the story, it takes a lot of skill, and I could see that she is skillful. Trolling aside, and maybe whatever other movies she has done where maybe she did not give that good of a performance, I'll still say in this particular movie she was actually the saving grace.
That there
She
is a
gave a good
that entire
performance.
scene where she is introduced to Alan is beautifully acted
Yeah,
by
yeah, yeah,
okay,
exactly.
his
We can.
responses, the way she reacts to those responses, the expressions on the face where she's sort of exhausted with his flirting.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
she's trying to convey that she's in a weak state of mind through the expressions, but also wants to sort of trust Alan. I think Ananya got that part perfect.
And also, it's like it is very hard to authentically portray depression.
Hmm.
And the moment I saw her, I was able to identify, yes, she is depressed, and it did not feel fake to me. I knew that she believes she is truly depressed. I could feel that even though I'm not with the relationship, for me, it felt as though, if maybe, if I have a real friend who's going through that kind of a depression, if they have been gone, if they have experienced a breakup and they are lying down in that kind of a pose, I may not have the same level of investment when it came to the relationship, but I can immediately understand that this person is depressed. So I got a sense of that from her. So which is again the which is a very commendable skill, and I want to compare this directly to Alia Bhatt's performance in Dear Zindagi. If you've seen Dear Zindagi.
I don't really remember much.
Anyway, so what I'm saying is Alia Bhatt's portrayal of a depression, arguably, I feel this one scene was much better than that entire movie, Dear Zindagi.
Okay.
Maybe people will not agree with me, but for me, that entire she Alia Bhatt's character spends like 1.5 hours portraying the same kind of emotion, but Ananya Pandey got it in just one scene. That's what I felt. I don't know, maybe because Dear Zindagi is not a movie for me, which I usually watch. Maybe because of
Yeah, it
that,
didn't
maybe
click
people
with
are.
me either.
Yeah, maybe people kind of got with it, but what I'm saying is, I got the gist of her emotion, whatever Alia Bhatt was feeling, in just one scene of Ananya Pandey just lying down like that, and in that posture where she's basically talking to the AI assistant. So yeah, that took skill. So yeah, Ananya Pandey definitely gave a commendable performance, but it is going to be largely unnoticed because this movie is not going to. It's going to fly under the radar because this movie is not going to be that watch. I mean, nobody's going to watch this movie that much because ultimately what I'm seeing is, see, It's a gimmick. Everyone knows that. Maybe someone will watch this. And also, even though it's a 90-minute movie, it was a chore to get through it. I couldn't watch it because I was like, "Khatam kar yaar, khatam kar." I'm bored, man. I'm so bored that I just wanted to finish it. कि जल्दी निकल आगे बढ़ आगे बढ़. I know where this is going. आगे बढ़ आगे बढ़ आगे बढ़. Ultimately वही है ना कि like I just wanted to see how they are going to end it. And I was like, "Hell, ये क्या है?"
Yeah.
That is the emotion I got with it. Ki, seriously, you went with this ending. I mean, you did not actually do anything with the ending. Ultimately, they just wanted to show a bleak future, and they wanted to show how they wanted to basically. This was a fear mongering. This was just fear mongering. In the end, they just wanted to kind of scare the audience that if you the choice is up to you. You have to be responsible. You have to not let these corporations take control of you. Otherwise, you will end up like this, depressed and then completely bound by technology. That is the overall message I got
But
from
it's
this
not even
movie.
consistent with that.
It
The
is not
film
considered, yeah.
shows the film shows that there are no consequences because as soon as Joe goes missing for 4 days, nobody contacts Nella.
Yeah,
Nobody contact, like, okay, she was his girlfriend for so long. Ask
technically.
her.
Anyways, okay, forget the fact that she was a girlfriend. Even the police are not conducting an investigation. The first place they'll go is check Joe's whereabouts, and he literally came to her house, and the security guard had to
Yes.
throw
Yes.
him out. So you have video evidence of that. So obviously she's going to be a prime suspect because that would be the one of the last places he visited.
No stakes movie. For me, immediately in that scene, there should be stakes. You establish
Yeah,
stakes in that scene by
and
police coming and interrogating her.
also this movie felt like this movie was tailor made for Riya Chakrabarti.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking
I
about.
know, I know, I know. I don't want to comment on it. It's
I know, but what I'm saying is this movie was tailor made for her because that is the kind of angle which they are taking this character in, that whatever happens, she's the one who's getting blamed. When the deepfake video releases, the online reaction which happens, that is the exact reaction which she got after 2020, that whole case with
yeah. What
Sushant
the
Singh
hell? What the
Rajput.
hell? She killed
Yeah,
him. And
exactly.
then I like that there were some comments about how are people believing this. There are some people who are like, okay, this is
No,
very clearly fake.
I know, but what I'm saying is the makers were clearly commenting on that aspect of of social media as well.
Yes, but they didn't do a good job of it.
They didn't do a good job out of anything.
Anything.
So ये इसमें क्या है, अलग से थोड़ी इनको मैं गोल्ड स्टार दूंगा. ये क्या विनेश फोगाट थोड़ी है कि हरियाणा अलग से उसको मेडल पकड़ा रही है ओलंपिक में हारने के बाद. तो वही मैं बता रहा हूँ, तो इसलिए anyways जो भी है कि that is what I'm saying ना. When see, this is the second time when I'm seeing a movie where you have good actors, you have someone who's actually giving their all to the character, but you are failing them by substandard writing, screenplay, direction, and everything. Like
Yeah.
you are the actors are. This is the second time. The first time was Devara. I felt the same way with Devara, where all the actors were giving their A game, the technicians were giving their A game, but you as a storyteller failed. And the same thing happened here as well.
Yeah, it's Ananya saved the movie in a way
In a
because it
way,
was watchable because yeah, it was watchable because of
yeah,
her actions and her
yeah.
conviction.
Yeah, I would still watch Devara again rather than rewatching this particular movie. मैं देख लूंगा भाई, मैं part 2 भी देख लूंगा देवरा का. I don't want to watch a movie like this again.
I understand
Very,
completely.
very horrible execution. And the plus, another disappointing thing is you don't expect this out of the guy who made Udan.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel that that was.
There's a transition here I want to talk about where it also feels like really bad or very rushed writing. Um,
Yeah,
there is a scene where she talks to Joe first time after the breakup. Okay, and then he says, "Did you do it for the likes? Did you come to my birthday for likes?" And then she's very offended. Maybe he hit a nerve over there. Maybe she actually may have done it for the likes. We don't know. But then what she does next is she goes online and starts her redemption arc, where I'm now a changed person. Uh, I'm like, इसके बीच में कुछ मिस हो रहा है. Okay, you can't go from here to here complete तुरंत.
Yeah, so that is what I'm saying. That this is basically they wanted to portray. They वही है ना, again a veiled commentary on social media, how people are mining everything, every experience of their life and turning it into content. So they wanted to comment on that aspect, that nothing is sacred, not even breakups are left. They have to make a content out of that as well. So they want to touch. That is what I'm saying. Now this movie wanted to talk about everything. In our podcast we can talk about everything, because we are not, I mean, we are not planning anything, we are just having a conversation. It is an impromptu conversation which we are having, so we are
Yeah.
bound to waver here and there. That is understandable. But when it comes to making a movie, you have the option. First you can, this felt like this screenplay felt like the second or the third draft.
Yeah, very clearly.
They needed to work on a couple more drafts before going into production. I feel they just rushed through it and then they were like, हाँ ठीक है, कर देते everything, they'll manage it, जो भी है shoot कर लेंगे. And also I feel this movie was shot during the lockdown. I get that idea, because mostly every scene is set indoors.
There is a scene where she's actually wearing a mask outside. She's
हाँ,
wearing for different purposes so that nobody recognizes.
yeah, but I
But
feel this movie was shot during the lockdown. Maybe it took so much of time for the post production work, and it is releasing now
no,
after
there are actually some good scenes here and there. Okay, where I see the touch of Vikramaditya Motwane. There is I'll give you an example here. Okay, um, so very clearly this movie is trying to comment on what Gen Z culture is like, what Gen Z
yeah,
people are like, right?
yeah,
So one of the things about it's a trope basically is that Gen Z are not ready for a routine life, where they're not ready to work a 9 to 5 job.
yeah,
Okay, a typical 9 to 5 job. Okay,
yeah.
so when everything ends for her and she has to go back to like the bakery
The
where she is
bakery.
taking
Yeah,
pictures. Yeah. So there is a
yeah,
scene where her mother enters the room.
yeah.
Okay, just pokes her head in and she's like, "Din kaisa raha?" And her expression is same. So she's sad about it being the same, but the mother is like same. She's happy about it being the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mother has the appreciation for today was normal. I went through my routine, but Ananya's character does not like routine in her life, so she does not care about it.
So that is,
It's a very clear
yeah.
commentary on Gen Z.
Yeah, it is a commentary. I mean, not, I wouldn't even say Gen Z. It is kind of a commentary on overall society, because ultimately what happens is, this is not just a Gen Z problem. This is also, see, we are not Gen Z, we are hardcore millennials. We grew up in the 90s, I mean, not even 90s, I grew up, yeah, we grew up in the early 2000s, and we literally saw YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Orkut, everything grow in front of us. We were kind of the first users of these apps, so we have literally seen everything reach to where it has in a very short span of time. Not even, I mean, we are still very young when it comes to our lifespan, and this kind of a drastic change, this used to take decades when it came to the last century, but this rapid advancement, this happened very quickly. So that is what I'm saying. So the coming back to the point which you made, the mundaneness of routine, the mundaneness of a routine life, where you have to go and work in the same office or same kind of an environment day after day without any sort of excitement happening, that
Hmm.
is a fear which is shared by most of us, not even young people, from a lot of people from our generation as well.
Hmm.
We all share that. We kind of try to avoid a routine as much as possible. Like, we don't want to go and work in an office. Most of us don't. I mean, most of us don't want to sit in a corporate office and just do the same thing again and again and then just come back.
And it's
Uh,
not a good thing or a bad thing.
It
Okay.
is not. Ultimately, see
Yeah.
what happened. Yeah. So, but how it is portrayed is, even though it's a clear social commentary on this culture, so they kind
Hmm.
of show that at the lowest point of her life, she she's doing this. She's sitting in a bakery and then just working, with her father, and then just just living an ordinary life. But for most people, that is a dream.
That's a dream.
That is something which they would gladly go with. So
Yeah.
I feel either it wasn't intentional, or maybe if it was intentional, okay, good. But I feel culture has kind of made us accustomed to the fact that we are subconsciously identifying with the same sentiment as the character, that we also share the same fears as her, that we don't want to be stuck in that kind of a situation. We'd rather, I don't know, we do
Okay.
anything.
Plot wise, you know what the low point should have been? It should have been her account getting hacked or completely deleted off the internet, and now that is the low point.
And she has to
Okay.
start from the
That never
scratch.
comes. That never comes.